Hey, yo, I sound good almost anywhere you put me. You been here a while, but they betting on the rookie. Better go and check in with your bookie, cause your bank account about to play hooky. My jeans got me short, that's why you overlook me. My jeans so fat, they lower than they should be. Mr. Goody Two Shoes, thank goodness I'm in a good mood. Never finish with my business, I can always outdo. Who's who? Cause all of you be sounding alike. Deuce Deuce, greatest album 2019. I mean, that's just me, TDP, PSG.
OMG, have you heard the new song?
We been cooking in the lab way before Wuhan. We're from boys to men, way before Mulan. Now it's all about the croutons, never need a coupon. I don't check the price, I just swipe, then I move on. Futons, how I elevate, only smoke out of state. Never far gone, need to be Armstrong out of space. That's one small step for the baby rappers, and that's one giant leap for the backpackers. And my backpack full of them pink Pampers. Don't be all up on my case like the Pink Panther. Already got 3 girls at home that need answers. I gotta meet these standards. I'm the father of the year though, raise a couple weirdos, screaming so fierce they pierce both earlobes. Here goes nothing, they go hear me coming. It's been a long light year, name still buzzing. Hopping in the same bucket, got the battery jumping. I'ma throw you in the trunk, you can feel me bumping.
To my family, my wife Vanessa, our daughters Natalia and Gianna, thank you guys for all your sacrifice. For all the hours I spent in the gym working and training. And Vanessa, you holding down the family the way that you have. I can't, there's no way that I can thank you enough for that. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.
Good evening, and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. This is another episode of Freddie Facts. I haven't done a show in a good minute, but I'm back. And when I tell you I have an all-star lineup, I have the best lineup that you will find on ESPN, Fox, anywhere. You only can find this lineup at ASAP. So let me bring them on. I'm going to bring my brother down there to Southern California. My brother Jonathan. What's going on, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, Freddie? How you doing, man? I got a cool shirt for you today. I know you remember this. This looks familiar, right?
Yeah, dude. Is that the Big Diesel?
That's Shaq, baby. That's Shaq. That's Shaq from 2000. Remember after he threw down the dunk? That's him. That was his reaction.
Kobe against Portland. There you go.
Yep, Game 7.
And now this next my next guest coming on here, you know him throughout the network. He do look kind of different because he lost a bet, but it's our brother Pride. What's going on, Pride?
What's up, Freddie? How you feeling, my guy? How you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm miserable. I hate life. Golden State, I hate them with a passion. Steph Curry, I want you to wake up one day and just miss your alarm. And I hope it's for a doctor's appointment, just for a checkup, nothing serious. I just hope he has to go through the inconvenience of just having to rebook it. I swear to God, I don't care. Okay. Matter of fact, that the kid in the parade who had to marry me to his daughter, I hope she says yes, and then after that, I hope they break up and she blames her father. I don't care. Minor inconveniences. That's what I want to this guy.
So,
we had a breakup today, actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, Pride is still hurt because his Boston Celtics lost.
Devin Booker broke up with Kenner.
That's what cost him. That's what made him sell against the Mavs.
Let's bring on our special guest for the evening, making his debut on the All Sports All Plays Network, Mr. Ronald. What's going on, Ronald? How you doing?
Doing all right, fellas. That was really, really nice, man. Hearing the best lineup, better than ESPN, better than Fox. Something just like LeVar Ball, man, manifested, speaking to existence. I'm going to accept that.
Yes, sir. That's the only way you can do it, my friend. Hey, before we move forward the show, tell the folks a little bit about yourself, where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Well, you can find me on @SportWorldOrder, Facebook page, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find me probably pretty much easier on Twitter because I'm pretty much on there more than any place else. I cover the Lakers for Lake Show Life on Fansided.com network. I I cover baseball, the black baseball players for MLBBro.com with Fox Sports, our founder and editor, Fox Sports own Rob Parker, and also I write for Slam Magazine's online newsroom. So I'm a busy brother, and it's all about sports.
That's excellent.
Stay busy, but in the sports media world. But I'm glad to have you. I want to thank all our viewers that's watching us. Got Mr. Prescott in the comments. Got Rob talking about Steph woke up a champion. Like I told y'all, Rob, when I first met Rob, this dude was a Chicago Bulls fan. Okay. He bled everything Chicago. Now all of a sudden, he's the E40 of the Golden State Warriors. I can't make that up. I'm sorry. Want to thank John for coming on.
But okay. Oh, so in other words, he bled the Chicago Bulls when Jordan was there.
Pride, you muted, my brother.
I'm muted. I'm dumb. But all year, brother, I'm telling you, supposedly was a Chicago Bulls fan. Chicago Bulls, that's my only team. I only got one team, and that's Chicago.
Don't be hard on Robert, fellas. Don't be hard on Robert. He explained the other day that he's a Curry fan, but he's a Bulls fan.
Jonathan, can I ask you a question, Jonathan? You're a Lakers fan, correct?
Absolutely.
Will we ever catch you saying "we" when referring to any other team? That's all I gotta say.
No.
Look here, man. I'm telling you right now, Robert. I'm telling you, man. This dude was in love with Chicago. Everything Chicago. They lost all of a sudden. He talking about we when referring to Golden State. He said, we gonna win. We gonna do this. And what bothers me the most, Robert, if I could just allow you to shed a little light. See, Freddie used to be a Giants fan, and he switched to the Rams, right? Now, hold on. No. I'm not gonna jump on you, okay? I just think it's funny.
Topic here.
No, I'm just saying, Rob Scott led the charge against Freddie for switching teams to a team that was in the playoffs and all this stuff. And lo and behold, if anyone here watches The Office, to quote the great Michael Scott, how the turntables. Because all of a sudden, Robert Scott is a Golden State fan. What a time to be. I'm so disappointed in you, Mr. Scott.
Pride, can you send Rob a link to the show, please? But let's keep it moving. We're going to talk about Mr. Kyrie Irving.
Yo, it's funny. It's funny you said that because I just got a text message from someone about it. And it's Kyrie in a Miami Heat jersey. And he goes, please put this up, and you got full green light to flame Kyrie.
Mr. Kyrie Irving. We all know what he's been through this year. With him not playing games, with the whole vaccination situation. Matter of fact, it's not even just this year. It's been the last couple of years of him known to take games off. He's the reason why Kevin Durant is there. Because there was reports when he first looking that KD was even interested in going to the Knicks. But Kyrie jumped in and said, no, let's go to Brooklyn. So KD followed his brother. Now, there seems like, both sides, Brooklyn and Kyrie, cannot agree on a contract extension. What I'm hearing is, and you guys can correct me if wrong, but I'm hearing is Brooklyn wants a shorter deal. They don't mind paying Kyrie, but they want it on a short deal because at this point, you really can't trust the guy. Let's just be honest. But Kyrie Irving still believes that he should deserve a long-term contract. So there's been reports that, he could look elsewhere to take his talent. He can go to Ronald's New York Knicks. The Lakers are part of that. I even heard some things about the Clippers. Adrian Wojnarowski came out today, and he said the Lakers are considered the most significant threat for Kyrie Irving. First off, when you guys hear that, what is you guys' reaction? I'll start with you, Mr. Ron.
I roll my eyes. I consider it lazy reporting. Doing sports sometimes is just common sense. And here's how I want to break this down. Number one, the Brooklyn Nets want to give him a 4-year deal, but the first 2 years are going to be guaranteed. Last two are going to be non-guaranteed, and they can only be guaranteed if he plays a certain amount of games. Play a certain amount of games, and they guaranteed the last two. So in other words, 2 years guaranteed, 2 years non-guaranteed, and it has to be incentive-based. Okay, let's talk about Kyrie Irving for a second. Personally, I'm going to be honest with you, with vaccines and stuff like this, that is his personal choice. But the fact that this man thinks that he should be able to get a max deal, and you have not seen this guy play too many games. They gave him 4 years at $141 million. What have they gotten out of that? Nothing. Absolutely, positively nothing. He did not show up in the playoffs. He disappeared. Kevin Durant was beat down for a reason by Boston. They could send 5 guys to him and put an elbow in his chops. And guess what? They didn't even worry about Kyrie Irving at the end. Now, let's talk about him leaving. He's leaving Brooklyn. He ain't going nowhere. They're going to give him $36 million next year, guaranteed money. Guaranteed. He already lost. I've heard $15 million. I've heard $24 million. He lost his Nike deal, shoe deal. So he done lost a ton of money out of this. And this thing about the Lakers, nothing against Adrian Wojnarowski, because if he says it, look, a percentage of it is true. But are anybody on this panel, and please, you can answer the question, going to leave $36 million on the table just to go to LA for $6 million at the mid-level exception just to play with LeBron? Anybody?
Can I answer that?
I assume he has a family and bills.
I'm not doing
that.
But
No
$6
way.
million a year would pay it. But
Can I answer that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So with Kyrie, let's say if he left 50, let's just say the number was $15 million that he did leave on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be honest. I don't think anybody know what Kyrie Irving is going to do. Kyrie Irving has his mind of his own. I mean, let's just be honest. This guy, he moved on his own. If he's willing to let $15 million sit at the table, and then I don't like the reporting from Woj about the Lakers just signing him, because there's no way in hell that the Lakers, I mean, that won't even work, in my opinion. To me, the only way for the Lakers to get Kyrie Irving is to be a sign and trade. And you just got to hope that you can find a third team where you can help facilitate this, where you can help get a Russell Westbrook off the books. That's the only way that I can see Kyrie Irving going to the Lakers. Maybe if you can include the Indiana Pacers, if you can, they sent out a trade yesterday that they rejected. But maybe if you can get them to be a third team where they can probably get a little bit more out of it as well, then maybe it could work. Or Houston Rockets, or a team like that's ready, that's wanting to unload. But that's the only way that I can see that this works. But it's not going to be easy. That's why I'm not really taking too much. I'm treating this like a grain of salt, because but it is a chance. It is possible. It is LA. It is the Lakers. You are dealing with LeBron, and you are dealing, most importantly, Kyrie Irving, which nobody knows what this man is going to do.
But there is something that we do know. Bills are bills. You got to pay, but you have look. Let's be clear here. I don't know. Look, I agree with you, Freddie. Hey, you know something? He is on a mind of his own. He's a free thinker. Understood. But let's talk about that sign and trade thing, because that is a huge commitment. Everybody thinks, but the market for him is high because he goes through his legs and he has all this talent. Understood. But let's look at what he's done in the past, and I'm talking about off the floor. He tried to when they had the bubble. He tried to convince players not to play in the bubble a couple of years ago.
And on top of that, just real quick, people usually say that, and they try to say because he was trying to do the players a favor. We need to start telling the full story on why he did that. Kyrie originally was cool with the bubble until when it was said he wasn't allowed to play. And it was like, look, if you're not playing, you can't come to the bubble because we can't be having just extra people for no reason. When he found that out, that's when all of a sudden the league was trying to take advantage of the players. And that's when the bubble was all of a sudden the worst thing in the NBA.
So if it's the worst thing in the NBA, let's look at it this way. If the players do not go to the bubble and they don't finish out that season, automatically the collective bargaining agreement that we have right now is null and void, and they're locked out. So now, and again, we always talk about the LeBron Jameses, the Kevin Durant's, the guy on the high end that has those high salaries. Let's talk about the low guys, the veteran minimum guys, the guys on the rookie contracts, the guys you just don't know very well unless you follow the NBA closely. Those people are in trouble. Now, see, I don't think Kyrie Irving thought of that when you're thinking about a collective bargaining agreement and you lock them out of you lock them out for a while, and then they have to go ahead and renegotiate a collective bargaining agreement, which is extremely tedious, and it can take months. So in other words, while that's going on, those players are not getting paid. They're not paying their bills. This is a business. It's the one thing right now when you see on NBA Twitter and social media and everything, they don't understand the business part of this. Did a lot of people want to play, those players want to play in Orlando? No. Some of them wanted to leave right after that incident in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. But the guys that really understood with the Players Association, those leaders, vice presidents and presidents, and Chris Paul, LeBron James, getting Barack Obama involved, understood the big picture. Mm-hmm. And does Kyrie Irving, because if you say something, you got to understand the effects of the entire league, your colleagues. Those guys are co-workers too. You can't be just because, hey, man, you know something, I'm doing this because I don't think it's right. And more importantly, go to the media and explain yourself. You can't just say, you can't do enough to say a headline, I don't believe in the vaccine. Okay, mm-hmm. Why don't you believe in the vaccine, Kyrie? I don't feel I need to explain myself on that. And look what the effects did, what it did to the Brooklyn Nets. Mm-hmm. James Harden, I remember telling somebody, there is no way I'm a basketball player. I'm going to run all these suicides, lift all these weights, fly across the country, do all this work while he's sitting at home chilling and whatnot, paid or not. And then he comes back 20 games before the season, and you're going to take my minutes?
And on top of that,
sure, that's going to happen. I just assumed it would be one of the bench players. I never thought it would be James Harden.
I mean, and honestly, the worst part about Kyrie Irving right now, the worst part that's kind of tanking, because look, we all know he could play. I don't think anyone's going to pretend that he can't.
Oh, no
Here's
doubt.
the problem. He's been in Brooklyn for what, 3 years?
Yes.
He's played 103 games. This season alone, Kevon Looney has played 104 games. I'm going to say that one more time just so people can understand it. In 3 years, Kyrie Irving has only played 103 games. In one season, Kevon Looney has played 104. That right there, in and of itself, if I'm Kyrie, that makes me only look. If you're listen, not only does Kyrie need a reality check, but it needs to come from his team. Mm-hmm. If I'm part of Kyrie's team, this is what I do. Kyrie, look, you're a talent. We all get that. But and this goes outside of the vaccination thing. Before that, if you had a horrible shooting night, you would get butthurt, wouldn't address the media, you would go on a sabbatical, and wouldn't even tell your coach. You wouldn't even tell your coach. Wherever you were going, whether it be Timbuktu or Germany or France or like wherever you wanted to go, you are texting KD mere hours before you're all supposed to meet up to go to a game. If I'm somebody on his, and I'm not even talking about the Brooklyn Nets, I'm talking about his group. I'm sitting down with Kyrie and say, "Oh, look, Kai, you can hoop, but you ain't been the most reliable worker. We need to all be on the same page. You haven't been the most reliable worker. This is the best way we can get through this."
But at the end of the day, Brian, Prescott right here has the perfect comment. It's who's going to hold him accountable. But nobody on that Brooklyn Nets team there,
but
in that organization.
But Freddie, what did I just say? Not the organization. One of his people needs to go up to him. Yeah, like I'm not talking about KD. No. I'm talking about his group, like how LeBron is rocking with Clutch Sports and how if Bron is messing up.
But at the end of the day, Pride, it's deeper than that, brother. At the end of the day, nobody on that Brooklyn Nets team is holding him accountable. It's the team.
I understand that.
Your coach, Steve Nash, is the coach, and he allows that. Sean Marks, I believe that's the general manager. They allow those things to go down. They're the ones that have to hold him accountable. Kevin Durant. Hey, if Kevin Durant was LeBron James, people will be going at LeBron and say, LeBron, how are you allowing this to happen on your team?
And I get it. I get it. But here's the thing. Who is Kyrie Irving more likely to listen to? His uncle or Steve Nash? His uncle or KD? His uncle or the Nets GM? His uncle or the owner? He's more likely to listen to his uncle, which is why I'm saying
that doesn't. Hold on. That's wrong. That's dead wrong. That's just like saying, are you going to listen to your boss or are you going to listen to your uncle? You got a job. That's your job. Let's water this down. Kyrie Irving convinced Kevin Durant to come to Brooklyn. Right. Kyrie Irving convinced the Brooklyn Nets branch to sign DeAndre Jordan 4 years and $40 million. Kyrie Irving convinced the Brooklyn Nets organization that they didn't need a coach, so let's get rid of Kenny Atkinson, who is chilling off, doing very, very well at the organization that you hate, the Golden State Warriors, as the lead coach behind Steve Kerr. He got that guy, and brought in Steve Nash because they want friends. Coaches have to coach. In other words, leadership, they don't have the leadership.
I don't disagree with you. There is no leadership, and I get that.
There's no accountability in Brooklyn.
There's no uncle. Look, his uncle does not.
The point is going over your heads. The point is going over your heads. If there's no accountability in Brooklyn, who is going to hold this man accountable? This is when we need to turn to his
I'll tell you.
Y'all need to hold him accountable.
Sean Marks. I just answered your question. Sean Marks.
He's not going to.
Sean Marks.
How can he hold Kyrie accountable if Kyrie Irving doesn't respect him?
But you know what, he's not going to listen to anybody. I got something right here, Pride. Listen, brother.
He's not going to listen to
you work every day. It don't matter if you don't respect your boss or not. Guess what? If your boss tells you to do something, you have a decision.
Hold on. No. Time out. See, no. I'm gonna tell you where you're wrong. Because that's a horrible example. You want to know why? No, because it is 110%, and I'm explaining to you why it's wrong. If I go to my job and I tell my job, Jonathan, you can't butt in if you still haven't heard the point. I still haven't let me get through the point. You can't compare it to my job, because if I go to my job and I call my boss an idiot, I get written up. I do it again, I get fired. They have allowed Kyrie to do this, so now you can't go to Kyrie talking about, all right, now we're going to put rules and regulations on you, because the respect is no longer there. That's why I'm saying there's nothing Brooklyn can do. Brooklyn can't do nothing.
They can let his contract run out. They don't need to give him a contract, bro. That's where you go wrong.
They have to do it.
We all have jobs. We all have jobs. When his contract is done.
The difference is, in our jobs, if we mess up, our bosses hold us accountable. Yes. Brooklyn hasn't done that to him. And since there's zero respect, you can't now expect Kyrie to all of a sudden be like, all right, I'm going to get in line. You can't expect that. You can't expect someone from the Brooklyn organization to check him. You can't.
He wants a contract. There's no. He has motivation. Right. Does he want to play for the Brooklyn Nets or not?
Apparently not, because he's not signing. So you can't use
that. He's going to sign. Look, Pride, let me tell you something. He's going to sign. He's going to sign. I can tell you that right now. You can stop right now. You can stop right now. He gonna be playing for Brooklyn on October the 17th.
I think the same thing. I think he does. I think he takes the player option. I think he goes in, rides the year out. He tries to, fix this narrative about him that he's too unreliable. And I think next year he tries again. I'm with you there.
But Prod, at the end of the day, brother, at the end of the day, they're not playing for Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is playing for the Brooklyn Nets.
Yes.
And Kyrie Irving is depending on them to pay him his money. So
he wants a max deal. He lost his max deal, Pride. They were going to before the year started.
I'm with you. Listen, I'm with you. He lost because of how he handled it. I'm with you. I get that. But what I'm saying, y'all can't then expect Brooklyn to put their foot down and
they
all of a
already
sudden try to hold.
That's what they're doing now.
No,
2 year. They had a 4 year. They had a 4 year, $100 and some odd million deal waiting on him. It was going to happen right along.
And what happened? And what happened? And what happened?
Hey, you know something? He didn't take the vaccine time for 60 games. Now it went down to 20. Now it's down to 2 years guaranteed and 2 years unguaranteed. So he's just like James Harden.
So 2 years guaranteed and then 2 years unguaranteed, right? Okay. So that's them putting their foot down, right? Did Kyrie Irving sign? That's all.
We ain't got through the draft yet, man. He got time. He has to opt in next week, man.
If he doesn't have any leverage, he would have signed. Period. I'm just saying.
He doesn't
You're
have
giving
any
this dude power that he ain't got. You're handing him power he ain't got.
He doesn't need power though. Well, actually, he does actually have power. He actually does have power. He does.
He has power. How?
Where?
I forgot. You're not aware of the situation. The reason they offered him that contract was because they want to keep him so KD stays. And Kyrie knows that. If that's not leverage for him, bro, y'all don't understand leverage.
Man, but at the end of the day, Prod, no team or no job is going to pay a man that's not going to show up to work. That's point blank, period.
His trade value and his free agency value is at an all-time low.
Yes.
An all-time low.
I agree. It is at an all-time low. And I understand that, but you guys are trying to make it seem like Brooklyn can check them into place. They can.
Yes, they can.
I don't think they can.
I don't know how many teams would even want to sign him.
I don't think they can.
Hold on, Jonathan. Hold on. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. And these players, not just Kyrie, you got to look at a Ben Simmons, got to look at a Zion Williamson, guys that sat out this year for whatever reason, okay? Whenever there's a new collective bargaining agreement, you best believe these owners are going to go in there and they go say, you know what? We're tired of it. It is enough. And they're going to lay down the law.
They probably will. Yeah, no, they probably will.
What I'm saying is, it don't just affect you, Kyrie Irving. It affects everybody. It affects those guys that are going to work, playing every game.
I understand that. And I agree with you there. I agree with you. I think where the difference is I do believe Kyrie Irving can, in essence, kind of fix the way people look at him.
No, they
because
can.
Again, he could. Yes, he can.
How?
Yes, he can.
Let me tell you something. He burned.
I already told you. If you didn't hear, that's on you, brother.
He burned bridges. You can't look. He basically
burned bridges with three teams. And and honestly, the only reason it's with the quote Lakers is because of what happened with him and Bron. But at the same time, him and Bron are not cool.
Look, how can you commit to a player that can't even fully commit to an organization?
I don't know. It's the same way y'all committed to AD and he can't commit to his health. So I don't know what you're talking about right now.
That's two different things. That's two different things.
Right now.
That is two different things.
Who is he playing?
Kyrie was not unhealthy. He was very healthy to play.
I understand he opted out. I understand. But it's the old saying, tolerance matches production. And if he has 1 year where he comes back and produces, people are going to look at him different.
Brooklyn's not going to be any better than they were this year. Well, they still can't block. They still can't block out.
Okay, again, see the problem is I'm addressing the point, and you're now trying to fall back to something else. The argument started.
Wait a minute. The only way that man's going to get a guaranteed deal if they win a title. That's it. Brooklyn got to win a title for them to let that boy get back the way he was.
No. If he goes next year, playing, let's say, 70 games.
So you're telling me
play 70 games. Let him finish. This moment. Every time he has his horrible shooting nights, instead of going on sabbaticals, he just sits there and he takes it and he goes, "Yep, I played bad." If he does some of this stuff, he then can go next year and say, "All right, look, I understand, I did dirty, but I'm trying to do better." That's the best thing he could possibly do.
He's not going to. He's not. He's been in the league 10 years, man. I mean, you think he's gonna change now? Do you really think this man gonna change now? I'm a Kyrie Irving fan.
Listen here. Everybody time out.
I'm just saying, have somebody in his team, real quick, Freddie. I'm gonna have one of his peoples just straight up say, "Kai, stop it." You grab a hold of him. Basically, again, if LeBron, for instance, when LeBron was messed up in Dallas, his peoples came up to him. It was his peoples and Dwayne Wade who came up to him, and Dwayne Wade was one of his peoples. They were like, "Bron, what are you doing, bro? You got to get it together." They got to do that same exact thing with Kyrie if they want to have hope. Is it going to work? I don't know, because again, he's a weirdo, but there's still a way to pretend there's not a way. Is I don't know. I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Time out. It's all about who's at the helm. We got to remember, this is a guy that said that they didn't even need a coach when they hired Steve Nash. And so this guy didn't have respect for Steve Nash from day one.
Who respects Kevin Nash?
Hold on, Prime. Hold on. You mean to tell me this man would have done the same thing if that was Greg Popovich? Greg Popovich wouldn't deal with that BS. He would have called him out.
The difference is people respect Greg Popovich. Nobody in that organization Bro, Nick Claxton doesn't even respect Steve Nash. And nobody respect him from jump.
That's what I'm saying. It all comes from the leadership. And that's what we're saying, that this team has nobody that can hold him accountable. Not Sean Marks, not Steve Nash. I
don't agree with.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I get frustrated when I talk with Freddie. Because Freddie you literally reiterated the same thing I said. I said nobody in the Brooklyn Nets can hold this man accountable. We've been saying that the whole time.
Not the guy in the corner left.
I say it, I'm Hitler. When I say it, I'm Hitler and I'm Vladimir Putin.
Sean Marks. Okay? Sean Marks. You're a general manager. The guy that put this stuff together.
I'm going to be honest with you. If he don't respect the owner, I don't know what he's going to do with the GM. That's the concern. If he looks at the owners and laugh, I don't know what he'll do with the GM. I don't know if he'll look at him the same way, because there have been rumors that Sean Marks has popped up in practices and Kyrie literally walked away from him.
2-year deal. And guess what? Those 2-year deals, those are easier to trade.
Oh, no, don't get it twisted. I do believe if Brooklyn ends up signing him to a 2-3 year deal, he's probably only going to play a year, maybe a year and a half, and they're probably going to end up trading him. Because I think eventually, I understand that, because I just think Kyrie's time in Brooklyn is nearing its end. But to pretend that Kyrie can't do anything to kind of change the perception a little bit on how people are looking at him, I don't think that's true. I think there's some stuff he can do.
I hope to God you're right, but I don't see it. And
that's fine. If you don't see it, that's fine. And that's fine if you don't see it. That's fine. But I'm just saying, there is a possibility. There is a possibility, because when we've seen Kyrie, when he's held accountable by somebody, that's when Kyrie's on the up and narrow. Before him and Bron fell out, Bron was holding him accountable, and he was on the up and narrow before he decided to leave.
You ever notice that he falls out with a lot of people? He fell out with the Boston Celtics, and then when he left, all of a sudden the Boston Celtics made the NBA Finals. Wasn't he supposed to be the final piece? Wasn't he the one that said, "Hey, man, you know something? I'm going to re-sign with the Boston Celtics," and everybody just yelling and screaming in the arena and everything, and then they were basically, I think his teammates basically packed his bags to let him leave and whatnot when he said he was out. I mean, when are you going to be happy with what you're doing? After a while, it can't be everybody else. Eventually, it's got to be you. He got to look in the mirror, because it's not going to be his uncle. It ain't going to be Steve Nash. It ain't going to be. Really, it's supposed to be him. Does he love basketball? That's a commitment. Playing ball is a commitment.
Ronald, didn't you hear his press conference when he was saying the press conference? It was after one of the NBA games, and he said that the team didn't have any chemistry, but he wasn't pointing the finger at himself. He was, pointing the finger at everybody else within the organization.
Absolutely. Great point. Like I'm saying, you cannot look. Ain't nobody gonna go through training camp or whatever training camp they had and play 60 games.
Right.
And this guy shows up, and people sitting at home chilling for over 60 games, come back like everything is everything, and you lose your minutes. Why do you think James Harden was upset? Blake Griffin. That's how they lost the locker room. And I will agree with you on something. This is where the Brooklyn Nets went wrong. When they told him you need to sit your butt home and you're going to stay gone, he should have stayed gone. He should have stayed gone. Now, if you're saying Brooklyn Nets are no leadership when it comes to that, you are absolutely positively right. Because if I'm Sean Marks and I tell you, you got to stay home, you ain't coming back, bruh. It ain't happening. We'll bring somebody in. We'll work with Patty Mills, Joe Harris before he got hurt. Whoever we need to bring in free agency or whatever, somebody from overseas, which they were doing to hold the franchise afloat while they were cleaning up the Kevin Garnett deals from years back. See, that's the problem. That's what Brooklyn is worried about. They're not worried about the contract per se. They don't want to get locked into some bad deals and get hamstrung in the salary cap for years to come. Because it took Sean Marks 6 years to clean up that Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, Jason Terry deal. And Boston still eating off that.
I was about to say that deal is completely different because they traded for 3 guys clearly out of their prime, and then they basically gave up their future in picks. So it got to the point where they had no backup. So when the old crew got even older, there was no plan B. They kind of thought, okay, we'll do all this to try to get a ring this year or maybe even next year and go from there. Unfortunately, that didn't pan out. So when they had to move on from them, the only thing they really were left with were just unsigned nobodies who, frankly, didn't deserve anything until eventually they had that era when Darren Williams came and forgot how to play basketball. They had Joe Johnson who, but I don't know.
But you know something? You're right. You're absolutely right. But you know something? If Kyrie Irving let's say he leaves, and Kevin Durant gets quote unquote alienated, what's Plan B for them? They don't have one.
I think it won't be a good Plan B, but you can trade. You can basically start from scratch again and trade KD, and you could probably still get a good haul for KD. So, I mean, don't get it twisted. It's not the best position to be in, but they won't be in the position of an Orlando Magic where they have no plan. They'll probably be sent to a situation like the Rockets where, yeah, we suck, but we got youngsters who in a few years we expect something from. So I think that's their plan B, and it sucks because it's extreme. You went from a championship caliber team to a straight up rebuilding team in a matter of probably weeks, because once Kevin Durant says he wants out, I think Brooklyn's going to have no choice but to just get him out because there's no point in keeping him.
Right,
but look, all I'm saying, I think Kyrie can. I think there's a route for Kyrie. Whether or not he takes it, that's on him. But I think there's some route, and Brooklyn can't be the one to tell him anything because there's no respect and there's nothing there to be. If they say something to Kyrie, it's like talking to a wall. So it's going to have to come from his inner circle. Like, yo, Kai, you need to get it together. Because I understand what you're saying about your boss, but it's different. If my boss yells at me, yeah, I'll be upset. But guess what? I'm going home. Now, it's different from if my mom yells at me or my girl yells at me, because that hits deeper. So maybe that's what Kyrie kind of needs. Maybe he kind of needs like something deeper where it's not a thing from pause. It's not a thing where like, oh, they're just, Brooklyn's just telling me this because they just want me to play so they could benefit off of me.
No, they're telling him to play because they pay him 4 years and $141 million. Man, give me 100. Look, my knees are shot, my shoulders hurt. Give me $141 million. I'm going to show up. I'll turn out the lights. I'll sweep the floor. You want me to inflate the balls? Do you want me to sell popcorn? Do you want me to, what you need me to do? I can't fly the plane, but I'll learn. Send me to school.
But again, this is the problem that people like you have, that you don't want to look at the whole picture. You're saying that if you're in the position of a Nick Claxton, a guy who has to bring his shovel and pail to work. You're talking about this for even a Kevin Durant, a guy who needs to show up to work. You're talking about a guy named Kyrie who, since he got to Brooklyn gave him everything, and they never made him have to work for anything, really. You want time off, you want to go on your sabbaticals, go ahead, we won't say nothing. Oh, wait, you didn't tell nobody until you until you left? You didn't text anyone? You didn't text Katie until hours we were supposed to play? Whatever, go ahead, fine, whatever. When you're in that situation, Kyrie more than likely is just going to be like, all right, cool, whatever. And he's already a dude who's going to do his own thing. However, we've seen Kyrie in a structured environment. And when he's in a structured environment, he's fine.
Let's
go. Again, John, you can't even spell basketball. I'm not concerned with what you're saying.
Let's throw him a 4-year max deal and whatnot, knowing that he going to do his
Freddie,
thing.
at one point did I say he should get a 4-year max deal?
But that's what he wants. But that's what he wants.
I understand that's what he wants, but I said
one
of his people needs to go up to him, tell him to opt in and play next year and try to fix how people look at him. And then next year, like the year after, then try his luck. That would
all right, y'all.
What has he done?
Hey, that's enough on that topic, Jonathan. We're going to move to the next one. And I'm going to actually change one of the topics because I love the energy. The energy is there tonight. And I have a feeling this is going to be the last topic of the night because, I just feel like it.
Well, Freddie, I just wanted to say one more thing, though, about Kyrie before we move on.
All right, go ahead. The last thing.
Look, for Kyrie, I think over the years we've seen it, empathy has taken the place of enthusiasm. And he just he's not fully committed to playing basketball. That it's just that simple. You can tell.
All right. I'm pretty sure you gentlemen heard Charles Barkley comments on Kevin Durant, basically saying that, Kevin Durant wasn't the bus driver in those Golden State Warriors championships. I'm going to give you my reaction, and then I'm just going to let y'all go because I have a feeling Ronald and Pride is going to get that vein to poke out their head, and them two are just going to go at it. To me, I absolutely agree with Charles Barkley. I do not believe Kevin Durant was the bus driver. He came to a team that has already been to 2 championships. He came to a team that won a championship. He came to a team that went 73-9. He came to a team where there's a great system that's already put in place. And with that, And they run it. We've seen it this year in the finals. They run that system better than anybody else can. Kevin Durant was the better player. We all know that. Kevin Durant's better than Steph Curry. We all agree. This dude is a 7-foot guy that can handle, that can shoot the 3, who can shoot the mid-range, who can do the inside. He can do it all. He can do it all. But you're on a system. But they're in a system where there's a lot of movement. Why do you think it's hard to guard them? It's because they're always running. They always run around screens. That's all they do. Draymond is that point forward at best. When he's going, that team is unbeatable. We've seen that in the finals. When he started to get involved on the offensive end, that offensive was clicking at its best. I believe it was the system that was the bus driver instead of Kevin Durant. And that's no shot at Kevin Durant. But it's not like you joined a team to go to the Washington Wizards, who is struggling, and take them to the finals and won. You went to a team that's already there. And there's nothing wrong with that. Whoever want to take off on this one, you can.
I'm with you, Freddie. We talked about this earlier. I think it was the system that was the bus driver, but I think we need to start shitting on Golden State too, because everyone loves to, and you can go ahead and just have that confused face. I understand, keeping up with timelines is very difficult. They went to him and begged him to go to them. I understand that if we're gonna poo-poo on Kevin Durant for answering that call and going to Golden State, deservedly so, we need to put some of that blame on Golden State too, because if they don't call him, there's nothing to pick up. KD almost re-signed with Golden State, or I'm sorry, with OKC. He had a dinner with Russell Westbrook, Nick Collison, and there was somebody else that was there. And he looked Russ in the eyes and said, I'm re-signing. The next day, the Hampton Five flew. It's not like he was around the corner.
So they didn't drive.
They didn't drive.
They didn't drive.
They didn't drive.
Did they walk?
These brothers flew to Kevin Durant. So I'm just saying, if you want to kill KD, and like I said, KD deserves some slack. Jonathan, I don't know why you're doing this. Because that's the only emotion I have every time.
Waiting on the point, bro. We're just waiting on the point, brother. Just waiting on the point.
Listening is a very hard task for some people.
Because you're blaming a Warriors team. You're blaming a Warriors team that he couldn't beat.
Over your head. See, and Jonathan, over your head. Because I said my full point, and for you to say that just clearly means that hearing is not in your wheelhouse. Because I said some.
No, I heard you.
Apparently not, because if you heard me, you wouldn't have said what you said. If you truly heard me, you wouldn't have said what you said.
Because you're blaming a Warriors team.
They deserve some blame.
That was already good without him. He couldn't beat. So
a 73-9 team that had to go get a top 2 player.
Oh, okay.
It didn't happen.
Aren't you supposed to? But aren't you okay? But aren't you? Isn't your job to win championships? I mean, in the NBA, you're supposed to win championships, right? And Joe Lacob, the owner of that team, wants the best of everything. It does not matter. We're talking the ownership group, because that ownership group runs a tighter ship. They spend better money than anybody else in the National Basketball Association. Everybody in the NBA tries to emulate those guys, and it starts at the top. He will spend any amount of money that they need as long as they are winning championships. So if you got a chance to go get Kevin Durant, why wouldn't you?
The fact that you said that,
Ronald, I disagree. Ronald, I disagree when you said that everybody in the NBA is looking up to them. They had to look up to somebody else first. I'm just saying.
And I'm saying this specifically for the people who killed Kevin Durant for going to Golden State. That's what I'm saying. For the people who kill, again, I understand listening is probably something people struggle with. So I'm gonna repeat what I said one more time. For the people who killed Kevin Durant for going to Golden State, y'all need to also put some of that energy into Golden State for flying and begging this man, please join us.
Hold on now, time
out.
They didn't beg him to jump on board. That's ridiculous.
Pride, seriously, man. Who's killing Kevin Durant to going to Golden State?
Oh my God! Okay, this just
if anything,
it is confirmed. You must not talk about anybody, bro. Nobody gives Kevin Durant the proper credit he got for those rings. What are you talking about?
He don't deserve it.
Thank you.
He was the Finals MVP, man.
Listen here, man. Stop it. Are we really about to do this?
You really are trying to argue, man.
Come on, brother. Hey, he went to a team that was already a well-oiled machine that's already won a championship. He went to a team that beat him. That's like Larry Bird. That's like Larry Bird going to the Lakers. That's like Magic joining Boston. That's like
MJ going to the Pistons.
Dallas. You can't do that. He went to a team that was already ready to win a championship. So let's not sit here and act like he went to a team that was not ready to win.
And the only thing I'm saying, this is the only thing I'm saying, and then Ronald, I'm gonna throw it back to you, and I'm gonna let you speak to me.
But at least I know what you're talking about now. Like the people that we're talking about that was killing Kevin Durant. Now I'm saying
there's more than just Freddie. There's more than just Freddie, and that's why I said what I said, because I know a lot of people who have that same thing, and I'm just saying, if we're gonna kill KD, You got to put some of that on Golden State, and you can shake your head. But again, Jonathan, you contradicted yourself because you're like, they're such a great team. They were 73-9. But if they're so great, why did they go have to go chase a top 2 player?
Pride.
That's my thing.
Pride. You can't put that on Golden State. Hold on, John. I got it right now. You can't put that on Golden State because guess what? Even though they won the championship this year, if they have an opportunity to get Kevin Durant, if he's a free agent, guess what? They're going to go ahead and try to have the same meeting they did when they did the first time. Because it is your job as an organization to do whatever it takes to make your team better. So how we're going to blame a team for them trying to be better.
Blame
so
KD.
That's what we're going to do, right?
And honestly, you don't have to wait. And look, and if you're saying blame KD, that's wrong too because he's a free agent. That's why they fought. That's why they fought. That's why Spencer Haywood fought for this. You have a right to go anywhere you want to go.
But look, I truly believe this. I truly believe this though. If he had stayed in OKC, and if him and Russ and James Harden had to stay together, they would have won a championship.
Probably so, but OKC is cheap. They let James Harden go to Houston. I mean,
that was dumb.
That's a different situation. OKC, they're about to bank. They're gonna look at that bankroll and they're gonna spend a certain amount of money. The Golden State Warriors are not. They're not that type of team. They're gonna pay what they need as long as the championships rolling. Even the last 2 seasons, that was planned. They knew Clay was hurt. They knew they were going to develop the young players. You think Andrew Wiggins all of a sudden just showed up to be a great player? They developed him. Jordan Poole was in the G League. They developed. These guys have plans. But you can't just say Golden State went begging for them and all this, that, and the third. Because they always have a plan based on what they do. That's why I respect Golden State.
Right. And they were also in the system that fit their style as well.
Yeah, they got the coach, Steve Kerr. Right. They let Mark Jackson go. They bring Steve Kerr in. They have a plan for everything they do. And they're probably going to win it again next year, barring injury. Because they got Jonathan Kuminga coming through. James Wiseman's going to get better.
I don't
another year with Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole hasn't been in the league very long, folks. And if they can figure out a way to keep Gary Payton.
But here's the thing.
I can see them winning back to back. I can see them winning back to back. They're already favorites to do it.
Because supposedly he wants like a 4-year, $100 million deal. I don't know if I understand he's not worth that right now. Maybe in 2-3 years, possibly.
You can want anything. You can want. They may not even pay him. They may give him I mean, look, him and Bob Myers, they got to negotiate. That's all. But I'm saying this: they developed their players. They got younger. They are the anti-Lakers. The Lakers just want to skip steps, bring a whole bunch of veterans in. They have no future. They always look towards the current and future.
Mr. Ronald, don't do that, sir.
That's true.
I mean, don't do that.
I'm trying to be calm.
This show's be upset. I don't hide.
I'm trying to stay calm.
What did I say? What did I say wrong? Is there something I said wrong?
My Lakers.
Well, he's a Lakers fan.
I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. Let's go there. You said the Lakers like the jump steps. It works for the Lakers. What they're doing, it works.
Last season.
It didn't work last year. It didn't work that season. But guess what, Jonathan? We've seen us hit stumbling blocks along the way before, Jonathan. We've seen when we brought in Gary Payton, Karl Malone, and the crew. That didn't work. We've seen when we brought Steve Nash, Dwight Howard, Pau Gasol, Kobe Bean Bryant in the crew. It didn't work. It's the same thing this year. But guess what? There were still rumors out there all year long. We heard, and we're screwed. We screwed ourselves by bringing in Russell Westbrook. I absolutely agree, 100%.
But Russell Westbrook won an MVP a few years ago, though. He's still nice.
That's where the problem. His contract is eliminated their options. You bring Buddy Hield in, you can move you can move those contracts, and you have no draft picks. Now you got to understand. You see this guy right here, James Worthy. They drafted him. They drafted Magic.
But how many?
They made a trade on draft night for Byron Scott, so they did use the draft to get championships.
But guess what, Ronald? They did. But out of those guys who turned into be superstars, how many of them was they drafted? The Lakers are all about stars. They're about Hollywood. And guess what? Just like how we're hearing about how Kyrie Irving can be available and the Lakers can be on that list, guess what? They're able to swing a trade with Kyrie Irving and Russell Westbrook somehow gone. The Lakers are back in talks for championship business. You better believe that.
You absolutely right. But you know something? They have to give up that 2027 pick for anybody to even pick up the phone. They're not going to give up that 2027 pick.
Hell, I don't even know if you even want to do that, to be honest. I don't know.
Rob Pelinka already stated he's not going to get rid of those picks. 2027, 2029.
Ronald, hold on. We seen yesterday that they was willing to get rid of it. A part of the trade with Malcolm Brogdon.
And you bought that.
But hold on. But weren't they going to get? They were going to get another pick. So it's not like they're losing that pick completely. They're getting another one. So they still.
I didn't see about the other draft pick. What I seen was it was Malcolm Brogdon
straight up.
And what I read that Buddy Hield had to be a part of that trade. So I didn't see anything about a pick.
And you're buying all of these reports on GraphWeek.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm buying it, but obviously they made a trade.
And for the record, I saw it, and I laughed. Did not believe a word of it.
They made a trade, but Indiana denied it. They rejected it.
You're not look. Russell Westbrook is going to make it through the season. I said that 8 months ago. I ain't backed away from it. He will be back because see, they have to give up that 2027 pick. And more importantly, why would you give up Russell Westbrook for Malcolm Brogdon, who is not as good a player, and he has been hurt off and on for the last couple of seasons? Now, look, Malcolm Brogdon can play. He is a nice player. That dude got game. But your greatest ability is availability. And I haven't seen that ability very often last year. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, in other words, you're going to have to justify trading Russell Westbrook away. And if he gets hurt, then what?
But to be fair, though, also the reason why a lot of times he didn't play was also with Tyrese Halliburton coming. That cut a lot into his minutes, too, because they're trying to gear themselves to go younger. Same thing with Miles Turner. When they started wanting to go younger, both of them lost a lot of minutes. So I do get your point about him being hurt. That is a concern to have. But I'm just saying this year, you can't just fully look at the injuries because there was a lot of other stuff with them just sitting him because they wanted to go younger. And even more than
that, even though Brogdon might not be that player, this top player, it frees up money. That gives the Lakers some money where they can spend in free agency, where they can go get a little bit more depth, where they can go get quality players. So guys like Pride, so guys like Jonathan, I don't know about you, Ronald, won't be calling us the old retirement home. So,
I never called y'all that. I never sunk that low. Never sunk that low.
Okay. No. I know Jonathan have.
Now I have laughed. I have laughed at that.
For the record, I will say this. Because I covered them last year. After the preseason, I knew they were in trouble. 2 games in, I knew they had no chance in the world to win a championship. And when they lost that triple overtime game to the Sacramento Kings, I knew the season was over. And they were wasting my time the night before the trade deadline when they benched Russ, and they lost Portland Trailblazers with Anthony Simons, the only guy you would ever hear of, beating a Lakers team with Anthony Davis and LeBron James on the floor. After that, they were wasting my time.
I'll be honest with you. I was saying this team was going to be bad at the second they got Russ. As soon as that happened, I was like, it's not going to work because if they hit a little bit of a slide, guess what? There's nothing the Lakers can do.
They should have made the playoffs. You can make the playoffs no matter what. You can't lose to OKC twice. You can't lose to Houston. You can't lose to Sacramento. These are bad teams. They lost to horrible teams throughout the season. And then when they tried to trade him away, which was the biggest joke. I mean, like they're trying to hide it. Everybody knows you benched a player that you're trying to trade the night before the trade deadline so they don't get hurt. And then you don't trade him? And all you had to do was give up a first-round pick for John Wall, and he would have been gone. And I even heard reports that they would have said, okay, take Christian Wood. But they don't want to take bad contracts back. So in other words, they want everything. It's almost a point of arrogance in that front office. And anything Kurt Rambis touches turns to do. Ask Minnesota Timberwolves fans and ask any New York Knicks fan. They'll all tell you the same thing. When they started putting his name in the Athletic, LA Times, the season was over then.
And it's kind of funny how you mentioned something that, like, honestly, no one really mentioned at all. The fact that, like, the Lakers want everyone to take their bad contract, but they don't want anything in return. Like, that's actually something like that actually specific point. It's kind of funny because, like, we're all kind of saying, like, and it's kind of funny because I'm actually having that realization now. Not only is it a bad contract by Russell Westbrook, but it's also the Lakers, like, being horrible in terms of handling the trade for Russell Westbrook, because when you have a bad contract, you need to trade that, and you're going to have to get one back in return, like a John Wall or a Gordon Hayward, regardless of if you want to deal with it or not. Yep. So it's kind of funny how you brought it up, and it's crazy. Like, it's one of those things that's so obvious, you don't really see it until it's dead in your face. Like, the Lakers are like, you take our problems, and we want all your pluses. You take our negative, and we want all your pluses, and then we'll wish you luck. So I'm
going to say this, and I'm going to end the show this way. I said this on the last episode of our Laker Talk 101. If you haven't watched it, check it out on Sundays, 6 p.m. Central. It's a wonderful show, by the way. Laker fans, I know it's hard to be patient. It's hard because we expect championships every year. But our best goal, our best situation right now, I know it's hard because this man came in our franchise and this virus, it was worse than COVID. I mean, it was worse than COVID. He came in there and our whole season just went down the drain. And it was fast, quick, in a hurry. But our best bet is to go through one more season with Russell Westbrook. Let that $47 million come off the book next year. Then you can build around your roster. Then you can go get quality guys. If that's a superstar or if that's a great quality role player to add depth around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's our best situation right now. I know it's hard for us to be patient because we expect
you want to be patient 10 to 15 years. It's going to be 10 to 15 years. So if Laker fans, please be patient. 10 to 15 years.
No, you know better than that, Ron. It ain't going to be no 10 to 15.
So LeBron's going to play another 5-10 years, right?
I see LeBron play another 3 years.
But even let's say,
and he gonna play at this level in 3 years. Okay.
Well, Ron. Here's the thing. Let's pretend LeBron's gonna play another 5 years, and let's pretend he plays at this level. Let's pretend. I promise you, it's not for the Lakers.
Oh no. After Steph just won his title.
You said where's he gonna go? Wherever his son goes.
He already said
his son goes.
How do we know his son's gonna get drafted?
He'll get drafted, bro. You gonna look. Hey, just like today's Wednesday, he gonna get drafted, bro. I can believe that. You can put your life on that one.
He's Bron. He's gonna get drafted.
He averages 6 points a game.
I don't care.
And again, you're not even bringing
Sharif O'Neal just got a trial. Sharif O'Neal just got a trial with the Lakers, 3-2-0. No, I don't want to hear it. He will be
the Lakers draft his son or get his son?
Okay. Clutch Sports strikes again. Clutch Sports strikes again.
Even if he wasn't Bron's son, he would play. Now I'm not saying he's going to be the number 1 overall pick.
And everybody's so stuck on him playing with his son. We don't know what's going to happen. Lord forbid LeBron get hurt. Lord forbid that.
Well, he's going to get hurt. I mean, hurt now. He's been hurt for the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, he'll get hurt, come back and average 30.
I mean, if you talk about career ending, yes, God forbid, but he's going to be hurt next year, the year after that. That's going to happen. He's not, them 82 games is over. He does not have that Miami Heat weightlifting program. He don't do that no more.
Right.
No, LDZ, me too. They think he can. He looks so good with that haircut, don't he?
I'm growing it back out just to spite y'all. Stop playing with me. Look,
let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question. Because this is something that's very curious to me, right? So Russ and Bron both are free agents in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
How confident are you that the Lakers could do something in 1 year to try to bring back Bron and try to have a championship team to go? Because I'll be honest, I think where the Lakers are right now, you guys are just, and I'm probably gonna get yelled at, but you guys are just like the Sacramento Kings. You're rebuilding. You're a team that needs
I ain't
to
going
enter.
that far.
No. I'm not talking about like in terms of like your management. I'm just saying you're a team that needs to rebuild, but you're in denial about it. You're a team that needs to kind of just start over and just move on.
Right.
But for some unknown reason, you're like, no, just one more year. So it's like,
you just said it. That money's coming off the books. I'm gonna tell you, if I was the Lakers, if I was Jeannie Buss, what I would do. I'm gonna be honest with you.
But
Next year, I'm firing for Rob Pelinka. He got to go, in my opinion. I'm bringing in a quality general manager that knows what he's doing, and then I'm gonna let him build this roster. You bring LeBron back, then you go around and see. We don't necessarily have to go get another superstar. We just need role players.
but what if Bron
Guys
doesn't
that
come
knows
back?
how to do. Then you have
LeBron is an
captain.
effective
That's
shooter.
the problem. Like
LeBron
if Bron
is an
doesn't come
effective
back, do
shooter.
you know what you're really left with?
And if LeBron
Davis
don't come
can't
back,
spell
brother,
the word
guess what?
healthy.
Hey,
That's
guess
like,
what?
that's a problem.
And guess what, Pride? If LeBron don't come back, I'll even consider trading Anthony Davis. And then you can get multiple draft picks. And then guess what you do?
You're not
Rebuild.
gonna get multiple draft picks for a guy, or at least a high, or at least something
I think
that you can
you'll
justify
get multiple
with
draft
an
picks,
off
man.
injured Anthony Davis. His
I'll be
market's
honest.
low too.
I'll be it is. So you're not gonna get a haul. I think at best you could probably get 2 picks. Like
You're not going to sell the fan base on that. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about Rob Pelinka, because everybody keeps saying, "Well, Rob Pelinka needs to be fired. Rob Pelinka needs to be fired." Rob Pelinka, in my opinion, and from what I've seen and covered this team, he's not a general manager in the sense of all the other general managers. Does he put the team together? Yes. In other words, he crunches the numbers. But a lot of hands are in the decision-making process. Jenny Buss is in the process. Kurt Rambis is in the process. Linda Rambis is in the process. Phil Jackson's in there too. Magic Johnson's in there too. He just ain't in the computer system. When he resigned, do y'all really think he just went away and just left? No. He just said, "Listen, I'm not on the computers." In other words, I can't get fined by the NBA every week for talking to the media and making my opinion.
Because I want to say Ben Simmons is nice, and then I get fined.
I get fined. That's not what he wanted to do. And another thing, the main thing is, there were things that he wanted to clear those contracts off the books, like getting rid of Mozgov, and he tried to get rid of Luol Deng, but he didn't. He got rid of D'Angelo Russell and get rid of those bad contracts. That was Magic Johnson's job. Rob Pelinka's job is to crunch the numbers and make it work within the rules of the salary cap. That's it. There's plenty of people that makes those decisions. It's not just Rob. What got the Lakers in trouble? They gave Frank Vogel that 1-year extension. Everybody knows a championship coach gets a full 4-year extension. Mike Budenholzer was supposed to be fired by the Milwaukee Bucks, but lo and behold, they win the title. He gets a 5-year deal. They gave Frank Vogel a 1-year deal. I knew he was done then. He was a lame duck coach. No one's going to listen to a lame duck coach, especially a bunch of veterans on 1-year deals. It's not going to happen.
Well, they don't got a lame duck coach now because they got that Darvin Ham.
And Darvin Ham is a great coach. They made a great hire. And if they didn't get him, if they'd have got Kenny Atkinson too, it would have been a great hire.
But look at the situation. He's walking into a damn dumpster fire.
You're going to have to. This is where everybody goes wrong.
Right.
Not only you have to deal with this year, you're going to have to deal with the future. You got to go past that quote unquote LeBron era. And I don't care who you are. They sent a message. 4 years, meaning we're going to give this guy full support. They didn't give Frank Vogel full support. 3 years at $15 million is not a market value for no coach. Everybody knew that. He was the fourth option. Monty Williams said no. Ty Lue said no. They really wanted Jason Kidd, but it was a PR nightmare. So they threw him on the staff, and they put Frank Vogel in there and gave him 3 years at $15 million. Ain't no self-respecting coach that thinks they're worth the salt going to take that deal. They didn't respect Vogel from the jump. They got what they paid for. Now, them winning that championship in the bubble, some congratulations, because it was amazing what they did. But the problem was they let JaVale McGee go. They started getting cheap because they had to pay LeBron, they had to pay AD, they had to give KCP his money, they had to give Kyle Kuzma his money, and then they started getting cheap, and they didn't want to go over that luxury tax. And then things started going bad after that. And Frank Vogel does not do a very good job with his roster. He never has. He didn't do it during the championship year. He was terrible. He was really, really bad at it. But this year, he basically, after they said, we're going to monitor him on a game-by-game basis, he quit.
He gave up. Oh, 100%. He gave up. He was like, I don't want to be in a situation where, like kind of what you said. Like I think when he took that 3-year, $15 million deal, he just took it because he was like, you know what? I need to take some gig to show I can do something, so I'll just take something. So he took it. He was like, whatever. Like you said, he was their fourth option. So I think he was like, look, I'm not going to push and pull. I'm just glad that they reached out to me, and I'm glad I got some breaks where the job fell to me.
Yeah, and you know something? And I don't blame him for that. That's something anybody would do. We do the same thing. They called us. We would pack it up and go to LA. 3 years and $15 million. No one is below the market value.
Right, but for me, this is just me. I don't blame Frank Vogel because, like you said, I think the Lakers had a Frank Vogel and a Rob Pelinka problem, and it was a problem where, to Ronald's point, it is a job that is meant to be led by one man, and then you have a bunch of assistants under you, but it's more like a GM by committee or coaching by committee, where Jeannie Buss is telling Rob Pelinka, these are the guys you're playing, and he's like, look, no disrespect, Shorty, you're home, we're in Dallas. What do you mean I'm playing this dude? Like, as a coach, you should be able to be like, this is my personnel. I don't care. Russ, you're only playing 15 minutes. Putting my foot down. And if he gets upset and goes to management, Rob Pelinka should have felt they'll have my back. They did it because it was just a coaching by committee where everyone was like, all right, so how many minutes should THT play today? 15, 22, 25, 30 minutes. Like, that's really how it felt. And it's the same thing with the GM, where it was like Rob Pelinka was like, man, I'll be honest with you. I think after the Westbrook trade, Rob Pelinka just shook his head and he just leaned back and he was like, do whatever y'all want. I think Rob had a conversation where every time they were like, all right, what should we do?
Listen,
I'm tired
of
I don't care.
Listen to this.
It's the reality.
Listen. This man sat up in a press conference saying, no deal gets done without me. They're all on my shoulders.
And then they go over him.
Falling on the sword. Yeah, you're right.
Rob Pelinka said that. Guess what? He didn't have to take that Russ deal. If Rob Pelinka, that's true. Guess what? It's your fault. I'm not going to
Sacramento. No, you never slide with that. No. That Sacramento deal was ready to go. That deal was going to go down. That deal was going down.
And they
were going to get Buddy Hield, and they were going to get probably Marvin Bagley.
And Rob, I will say this: I'm a diehard
LeBron, Clutch, and them cats. They say, hey man, we want Russ. We're going to bring this in, and it's going to, and we'll figure it out. And that's what got them in trouble.
I am a LeBron James fanboy. I love Bron, but I've been consistent with this, and you can ask Freddie. LeBron needs to wear what happened with that whole Russ deal. Because if LeBron doesn't say anything, if his phone dies, Russ never's in LA.
Nope.
If he loses his phone, or if he had given his phone to Savannah because her phone died and she wanted to FaceTime one of her friends, or if he left his phone in the car and he was shooting hoops and stuff like that, that deal never goes down. They don't get Russ. But right, and like I said, I do blame Bron, but you know who else you also have to blame? You also do got to blame Rob Pelinka, because Pelinka should have.
I'm never going to blame him. No, the structure is not set up that way.
But Ronald,
everyone's blaming him. What are you talking about?
But this is why I give a little bit to Rob Pelinka. This is why I have to, because I felt like that's when Rob should have been like, you know what? No, time out. I'm putting my foot down. Either A, we get some goddamn organization up in here, or you're gonna fire me. Because I am not.
You ain't fired. Look, I'm not making no ultimatum for the $10 million a year job in LA. Ain't doing it.
But here's the thing.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know who Tim Harris is?
I'm only 5, so I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Tim Harris is? He's the business owner. He's the business owner that handles the business side of the Los Angeles Lakers. He gets a vote.
I don't know who he is.
Now exactly. Tim Harris gets a vote because you know jerseys are going to be sold. You know people are going to spend that money to sell out the Staples Center at the time, now Crypto.com Arena. You knew that was coming. You knew that you knew the naming rights were going to change anyway. It sounds really, really good going to somebody getting naming rights when you got Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Russell Westbrook at the time. Mm-hmm. But they all get votes. Rob Pelinka does not have the power of those other general managers. Everybody got to get around this. This is reality. Is it irritating? And does it get them in trouble? Absolutely.
Ronald,
I'm with you, Ron.
Hold on, Freddie. Y'all. Shout out to my dude Tony. He's in the comments. What's up, brother?
But Ronald, this is, and real quick, Freddie, let me just say this after I promise I'll swing it over to you. Ron, this is the only pushback I have to give you because they told Rob you have all that power. So that's what I'm saying. Because look, if Rob Pelinka had put his foot down, he's probably going to get fired. No, it's not that I believed it. Rob believed it.
Just because they said it, they said they were going to fire Frank Vogel after the Denver Nuggets blew him out in January. I don't believe anything those cats say.
That's you. But Rob Pelinka obviously believed them enough to dive in with 2 feet. No problem. No questions asked.
Listen here.
They pay him $10 million. They pay him $10 million a year.
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. He should have put his foot down.
I know.
Hold on. Listen here. Let's give Rob Pelinka a slap on the hand. Oh, Rob, it's not.
I know, man. It's frustrating talking Lakers. It is frustrating,
man. At the end of the day, the man said out his own mouth, things don't get done without he has the last say so. He said that out of his mouth. So we gonna have to hold him to that.
Okay.
Yes, they had that deal done with Sacramento. Yes, LeBron James came and said, "Hey, we want Russ." But guess what, Rob? You had a decision to make. If you want to stand on your points, you stay on it. There's reports, Ronald, that there's general managers around the league do not like the man because he was an asshole as an agent. The only reason why he got the job in LA was a Kobe Bean Bryant. That's the only reason. Nobody else in their mama would hire him as a general manager. This guy. And to me, he's not that valuable. Yes. And this
he has zero experience.
We had a reporter for the Lakers on our show on Lakers Talk 101 a couple weeks ago, and he said that Kirk Rambis, Magic Johnson, Phil Jackson, those guys are just advisors. Those are guys that Jeannie uses to, hey, what do you think about this? But at the end of the day, she still make the decision. Rob Pelinka deserves some blame, but Jeannie Buss deserves some blame as well. Because
everybody deserves blame.
Because nothing goes on without her approval. But at the end of the day, we can't expect her to be her daddy. Her daddy didn't roll like that. Everybody want her to be like her daddy. She's not her daddy, and she's her own person.
We know that. We know this ever since that man passed. Dr. Jerry Buss, may rest in peace. That's it. That's been a poverty franchise for the majority of the time over the last decade.
Who?
Poverty. Yeah. Take away the 2020 title.
Stabs. When my Lakers, we've been more relevant, even more poverty than the New York Knicks. But we're not going to talk about that.
Since 2020, take out the 2020. And the playoff season the year prior, they missed the playoff 9 years in a row. I mean, I'm sorry,
Ronald,
9 years, 9 out of 11 years.
Ronald, but one thing I'm not gonna let you do is keep throwing stabs, my brother. This is the second time. I'm gonna respond to this one now. Even though we've been a poverty franchise, we still been better than the New York Knicks.
Real quick. Ronald, are you a Lakers fan?
He's a New York Knicks fan.
I covered him. I just covered him.
So you're a Knicks fan?
Yes.
So you're a Knicks fan.
The Knicks thing too. You want another hour to talk about?
All right, there we go.
Too.
Okay, that's it. Because I just wanted to make sure if you were willing to say that about the Knicks, I will take what you're saying wholeheartedly as straight up your unbiased opinion. I just wanted to make sure because Freddie was trying to make it seem like you was just being biased. So that's why I was just trying to.
I don't do that.
How you know what I was saying?
You know something?
I said that's what you were insinuating.
And more importantly, how do you think I know how badly that front office is when Kurt Rambis and Phil Jackson was with the Knicks before they went to the Lakers? You don't think I know how they roll?
To be honest, if we're gonna be honest, this man will probably be the forefront expert in why Phil Jackson is probably feeling the Lakers. He probably would be the forefront expert after what happened in
at the end of the day, he just putting his opinions. He's not really making those decisions.
The fact that he's allowed to put in his opinions and it to be listened.
Everybody have opinions, Pride. Guess what? But at the end of the day, a lot of people have opinions how things should run at ASAP. A lot of people bring it to me, say, "Oh, y'all," but guess what? I have a decision. Either we do this or we don't, right? I mean, everybody have an opinion.
But you know something? We've been doing all this yakking about the Lakers. What do you think? How do you fix the Lakers? Because let me tell you right now, LeBron can opt out. Russ is gone. After this year, we all know Russ is gone, okay? You're going to have to fill out that roster with the same veterans, and a couple of mid-level exceptions. And if anybody believes Malik Monk is coming back next year at $1 million, I got a section of highway that I can sell for you $500.
Yo, Ronald, say that one more time.
Just send me the money.
For how much?
There's $500. There's a section of highway, especially for you, that only you can use. What I'm telling you is this: after a while, LeBron has to leave because everybody keeps talking. Well, they need to trade LeBron. It's not because the man stinks. It's because he is the only thing NBA teams want.
Yep.
You got Anthony Davis going to have to figure out a way to prove to somebody that he can play 70 games a season and the playoffs.
I don't think he can.
And even more than
I got
Russ is gone,
right now.
how you going to fill out?
I bet Anthony Davis wins 75 plus games next year.
And you know something? I hope he does because the boy the skill set is off the
Freddie, you want to bet
charge.
on that? Freddie, you want to bet on that?
How much?
Oh, snatch your check so fast. He not playing 75. He's not playing.
What's his jersey number?
Matter of fact, I got a better one, Pride. Let's make the bet right now before we end the show.
Let me hear.
Bet 23. That's his jersey number.
Nope, I'm not gonna bet no money on this. We're not betting no money because Pride gonna have hair back come next year.
So
see, Ronald, you see Pride, he had a big long afro, but the Boston lost, so he had to cut it off.
You want me to reshave?
No. I got something better than that. Shave the head, the facial hair, and the eyebrows.
Your hair's safe, man, because the Lakers ain't even gonna let him play 75 games.
That's right. Thank you. That's the trap I was trying to say.
They won't even allow it. I can guarantee that right now.
That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. Because in his entire career, he's played 70 or more games twice. Do you know when both those games were? In New Orleans. Since he was a Laker, he's never played over 60. He's never played 60
we got a bet or no?
I'm gonna take the bet, bro. But you wait, hold on. Don't you gotta shave your head too and do all this stuff too?
Yep.
What about your law? What if you lose? Because I'm gonna be back to see what this happens. Because the Lakers, that franchise is not gonna let that man play no 75 games. So what are you gonna do? Shake that head and that facial hair and whatnot?
Brother, stop being messy, brother.
I want to know because honestly, I done told you on June 22nd before the season even starts. This man will not play 75 games. Because the franchise is not going to allow it. They're so afraid of him getting hurt.
Yes.
They're going to rest him.
And that's honestly why I don't think he's going to play 75, because I don't know if he'll be healthy or not. Regardless.
Well, let's go at 65.
No, 75. 75, Freddie.
Hey, this is.
Oh, you got to go hard. You got to end the show now, right?
Ronald, we got him.
Hey, y'all, I want to thank Pride, Jonathan, Ronald for coming on, man. It's a pleasure talking NBA hoops with you guys. Hell, I think we only talk about two topics today. But you know what? Hey, that's when you know the episode is great.
Well, you know, Pride stole the show the same way Steph Curry stole Game 4 and Game 6.
Look here. Don't you?
Oh, shots fired. Boom, boom, boom.
Jonathan. All right, Jonathan. All right, don't you?
You know something, man. You might need to buy and get some medication because they're gonna win again next year.
I don't know. I need to see how Clay's looking because if this year
he got a whole off season and training camp, man, please.
That's what I'm saying. Because that's the thing. I want to see if it was because he was unhealthy or if this is the Clay we're gonna see having a full off season with a training camp. Now we're gonna be able to see. All right, is Clay kind of now being hampered by the injuries and he's kind of just. This is who it's going to be, or are we going to see the Clay of old? That's all. So before
you'll see the Clay of old,
Uncle, I want to see.
You will.
I'm gonna see first before I say anything.
That ain't our rule. I'll tell you what it is. He's gonna be fine. You can't just stroll off and not play for 941 games with a bad Achilles. I mean, blow your Achilles, blow your ACL, and play to that level. And I mean, even to the level that he played, he wasn't the Game 6 Clay. But what he did was basically amazing. If it ain't, I mean, the story is Steph, but Clay's contribution to that championship team was amazing to me, and I give him all the credit in the world because that is not hard. That is a very hard. Basketball is difficult, especially in the NBA, and for him to put up points in any type of situation after those injuries, he needs his flowers.
I'm not taking nothing from him. I just want to see, with a full offseason training camp, get him back everything. Let's see how he looks. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I hate Steph, though. I hate him. I hope his compression. I just hate him. I hope.
Look, I know I'm holding you up, Freddie, for ending this show. Why do you hate him?
Hey, you know that. You want to know why I hate him? You want to know why I hate him?
Yes.
Because for me, he's the only dude I know who you can try to give him his flowers, and people will take an inch and run it and try to go a mile with it. That's honestly all. I think it's his fans I hate more, but I have to put the hate somewhere.
Didn't say that. I want you to say that. Didn't say that. Don't say him, man. That man just plays basketball and goes home to his wife.
Listen, but the type of hatred I have, it's not like I want him to die or nothing. No, I don't want that. What I want from him is simple. All I want for him to do is when he goes to put on his compression shorts under, I hope they're a little loose, so that way he constantly feels it and it annoys him. I just wish minor inconvenience on this guy.
Well, Pride, I hate to break it to you. That one woman would disagree with you. That one woman at the parade that tried to kiss them.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Freddie, I'm gonna let you go, bro.
All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in.
All right, Ronald.
All right, y'all. Appreciate it.
Until next time, we are out.
Hey, yo, I sound good almost anywhere you put me. You been here a while, but they betting on the rookie. Better go and check in with your bookie, cause your bank account about to play hooky. My jeans got me short, that's why you overlook me. My jeans so fat, they lower than they should be. Mr. Goody Two Shoes, thank goodness I'm in a good mood. Never finish with my business, I can always outdo. Who's who? Cause all of you be sounding alike. Deuce, greatest album 2019. I mean, that's just me, TDP, PSG.
OMG, have you heard the new song?
We been cooking in the lab way before Wuhan. We're from boys to men, way before Mulan. Now it's all about the croutons, never need a coupon. I don't check the price, I just swipe, then I move on. Futons, how I elevate, only smoke out of state. Never far gone, need to be Armstrong out of space. That's one small step for the baby rappers, and that's one giant leap for the backpackers. In my backpack full of them pink Pampers. Don't be all up on my case like the Pink Panther. Already got 3 girls at home that need answers. I gotta meet these standards. I'm the father of the year though, raise a couple weirdos, screaming so fierce they pierce both earlobes. Here goes nothing, they go hear me coming. It's been a long light year, name still buzzing. Hopping in the same bucket, got the battery jumping. I'ma throw you in the trunk.